Yo, You know,
Yo, yo.
and Price would not care to wait for me to move to that imbalance. Oh, that's not cool. Shit. Mm, mm, mm. Gold has been on a crazy move up. That's that 200 pips I was looking for right there. Let me check this dollar. I might enter a buy.
I just exited a buy.
Oh, the dollar is falling. The dollar is falling heavily. GU, I like the way GU looks. I need my trade locker. Code. I'm gonna enter a buy here on GU. That's for my credentials. So annoying. So annoying.
I just entered a buy a little bit ago. I entered very late, but I still liked it enough to get in and get out. I ended up getting like 12 pips, but if I entered when I just wasn't paying attention, if I entered initially, I would have gotten a lot more. I would have got in towards the top of this candle. I probably would have collected like 30, 40 pips. I just was setting everything up and I looked back and gold just marched real quick, but we still had a lot of volume, so I still entered. Either way, good trade. Uno for Uno in the morning. I'm still marching.
I'm typing in my credentials right now for my trade locker. What do you mean wrong password combination? That's marker. What do you mean? You guys got me on demo, bro. Oh, so my lab is already logged in. Sweet. So you guys been wasting time for me right here. Sweet. 5 minutes, looks like 5 minutes. That dollar is just falling, 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 falling. Can't get up. What is it doing right now? My trade market is tripping. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. I just entered a buy on GU, GBP, USD.
Damn, I entered late and gold is still marching.
Yeah, that dollar is dropping heavily right now. Um, just the reason why I would say the dollar is dropping, I'm noticing that we probably got some bearish some bearish USD moves. ADP non-farm employment change.
Mhm.
Just thinking back to yesterday and Fed Powell, just I watched the speech again last night, and just hearing him talk about the labor market and whatnot. I don't think this will be the trajectory um, in terms of the dollar falling, but this is just kind of what has to happen. So the state from what I was listening to Fed Pat, man, state of the dollar is doing well, labor market's doing well, economy's doing well. So Um, I have right now. Let me pull up my dollar chart. I have a really clean daily trend. The dollar actually just broke a daily trend, so it's about 10 hours left in that candle. So it may finish up the week bearish, or I should say, before we roll into this banking holiday. Damn, man, that's clean. Watch this. That imbalance. Oh my gosh, completely filled. Completely filled. That's the move I was waiting for. That's the move I was waiting for. That's the move I was waiting for. Something I could have did. Let me see. I could have just been up. That's funny. I was up at 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. Could have caught that move right there. I got 200 pips. My risk. Oh my goodness. This would have been a very, very nice entry, guys. My risk would have been about 48 pips. Right. So, I could have probably done a 0.03 lot size on that. All right. 234 pips I would have profited, and then about a 5 to 1. That was so clean right there. Gold.
Are you in any trades right now?
I'm gonna trade with GU right now. Yeah, I'm gonna trade with GU. I like this position from GU. Checking my higher time frame. Yeah, GU just broke a 2 hour decision making zone. Um, yeah, just broke a 2 hour decision making zone. I want to see if it wants to move up to this daily area, but I have a few decision making zones that it's gonna run into before that. For the most, I'll look to get from this trade, probably around 15, 20 pips. Just because I think when this PMI comes out, this PMI, um, maybe not so much finance services, but definitely ISM. So seven a.m. news. I think it's definitely gonna send this market bullish. Gold was gonna go bearish. Dollar was gonna go bullish. Um, if we look at the trade balance was bullish at 530.
Uh-huh.
And this was obviously good for the dollar, it being bullish, so PMI direct reader for inflation, FOMC meeting minutes at 11. I believe this folder has to do with a meeting that they already had, and now it's kind of just going on to go over the data that has come out, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure that I'm about 90% sure like it is about. So that's happening at 11. That's a significant amount of time before market close. Market close at 2 p.m. Obviously, no trading day tomorrow with the banking holiday, but then it reopens back Friday, which I normally don't trade Fridays, um, for the reason of manipulation. I just I have seen some great plays, clean plays come in on Fridays. I just feel like the history with me and Fridays, it's not the greatest.
Yeah, I traded my fair amount of Fridays. Don't love it.
Yeah, they're not the greatest.
If we're comparing to the middle of the week, they're not the greatest for sure. She moves at 6:45 and 7. Got about an hour till that happens. An hour on the dot. I titled today's video, going over my DMZs and my support and resistance, my markups, and then what I consider a successful day of trading for myself.
Mm,
We kind of go over that. I'll get into that in a little bit. I want to watch what gold's doing right now. Once gold gets into consolidating or into the cloud, is when I'll kind of dive into those two topics today.
you said what were the topics again?
Just marking up my levels of like decision making zones or support and resistance, whatever you refer to it as well as what I consider a successful day of trading for myself.
The my computer's actually tripping. Is that me or no?
What'd you say?
I'm just talking to my computer.
Oh,
Man, I did close out of my GU trade. I just didn't love it. I didn't love it after I just kept sitting looking at it. I honestly was mainly upset that I missed this. Oh man, that I missed this bullish move from XAUUSD, and then so I saw some other moves happen or another pair come in that I liked, and so I wanted to just take a trade, and I didn't need to do that. I didn't I didn't lose that trade at all. I just wanted to protect my money, you know. So I didn't love it. Closed out with 32 cents profit, almost nothing. Like that was just a trade to keep me safe. Closing that out to keep me safe. Even if it goes into profit, I don't care because, like I said, I
my
ain't
account right now, I opened this demo account with $3,000 on June 18th. So what is that, about 2 weeks? 2 weeks ago. It is now up to 4,030. So $1,030 profit from a $3,000 account, which is what, 34%?
nice.
2 weeks, 34%. Got everything logged right here. I've only lost and learned a lesson on 2 trades. I love what gold's doing right now. Had a retracement here. I'm on price, but I really love what the MACD is doing and retracing, getting closer to that midline. Got a red dot. Price can push back up here before it gets into the cloud. Get a green dot on the MACD. I'll look to enter. DJ going, love it. Ooh, UCAT has had an amazing push down.
Yeah, I would say probably every pair is pretty good. AUD, NZD looking pretty good.
Well, UCAT has had a tremendous push with honestly like one, two, three,
GBP,
four
JPY.
dot entries on this push, but I mean probably 5 or 6 entries in general.
See, I'm more of just a one shot kill kind of individual. Especially this dollar, man. I can't get over the dollar. That's actually looking pretty well as well. If it starts falling back down bearish, I'll look to re-execute um,
On gold.
on just any pair really.
I
Any
see.
pair, AUD, NZD, whatever pair looks clean. USD ZAR, this is really clean right here. That's my daily. Right now. Let's see how far these pairs are on the trace. All right, get that inbound back. I'm over it. I'm over it.
Fine, man.
What does a successful trading day look like? What does a successful day look like? It's crazy how many different ways there are actually to look at and measure
Yeah,
success.
I'll get at it here in a minute. And I wanted to really specify what I consider a good day of trading. So what I consider a successful day, you may not, or what you consider successful, I may not. So I figured that could be something good we could talk about, and the way we look at our days of trading, whether we look at numbers, percentages, dollars, or just us following our trading plan and our strategy. But I definitely want to get into that here. I want to see what gold does first, and then I'll dive in.
Yeah, I
Because I
mean,
know
we just
if I'm mid topic and gold starts to move great, I will
no,
lose my
that's
train.
fine. That's fine, bro. We can just chop it up about it.
But it does look like gold's gonna move down here into the cloud. I'll give it a few minutes. New episode on the pod out later today. Pod EP was fire. I'm gonna run it through that Opus.
Yeah, Opus is tough. Opus Cook, shout out Opus Cook.
I still I timestamped about 6 videos just in case I don't like what Opus gives us. I still got 6 solid ones. but I'm gonna pay for it today and try it out.
Yeah, you can do a free trial.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
Oh, bet. All right, yeah, goals moving here into the cloud. So, Marcus, did you want to start or do you want me to start with what we
Yeah, bro,
consider?
you can just get into it. You can just get into it what you specifically consider a good trading day. You know, a lot
Awesome.
of people deem success differently, so
Yeah.
you just get into it. We'll just go back and forth.
Yes. So the main focus for me in my trading and what I consider a successful day, um, we've all had those days where, we close the chart and like we feel good about it, right? Like I'm sure we all had that yesterday. I would, I would think so at least. We all had good days, and for me, that's less about the actual numbers. Like I was 2 for 2 yesterday. I'm looking at it here, 2 for 2 with about 30 pips, 28, I believe to be exact. Yeah, and both were good trades. Ideally, I would have liked to stick in one of them a little longer, but there was news. But either way, it's less about, hey, I finished 2 for 2 with 30 pips, and I profited X amount of dollars. Obviously, that's great, and that makes me feel good about it. But for me, it simply comes down to my patience, discipline, and consistency rules in following my trading plan. I think I'm sure if we found clips or videos of us from the beginning, I've always said those 3 words: it's patience, discipline, consistency. And to kind of break it down, we have a trading plan. Mine's a little bit different than yours, and yours will be a little different than Q's, and Q's will be a little different than Blank's. Like we all have a different plan and different rules that we have for ourselves. So mine just comes down to following those rules day in and day out. And to me, that looks like, I'm on the market. I'm trading I trade 3 days a week now. I trade Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, for the most part, those 3 days every week. And it's strictly just that 2.5, 3 hour time frame where we're on the call. So not a ton of trading volume. But when I am trading, I'm focused and I'm paying attention and I'm those 3 words: patience, discipline, and consistent. And when I'm on the charts, I'm patient, waiting for I don't want to say the perfect entry because not often is that a thing, but close to perfect, the closest to perfect as I can get, And I want, to follow the trend of the moment. I don't want to be near any decision making zones. I want it to be, clean angles on my cloud. If I replay this right here, like I would say, this would be a near perfect entry for me on my chart that I'm sharing here. Price is moving upwards. I love how my lines look. On my MACD, I have volume. Now, a lot of times I'll wait for the dots, like this green dot down here. Um, and let me see if I don't even know if price has some topping here. Like even back here on this dot, could have entered. Um, could have entered here, but I still loved my entry where I did enter. Let me go back to it. I'll just cut there. Good angles from my cloud. We have a bullish cloud here. I'm looking to take a buy on XAU USD. Um, got good, strong buy volume on MACD, and everything looks clean. I'm not near any decision-making zones or resistance, support, whatever you refer to as. We say DMZs, decision-making zones. But I'm being patient, waiting for an entry like this to enter. And then when I say discipline is, I'm following my rules. I'm not, for the most part, I'm not trading outside of my 3 days and in that 3 hour span that I usually trade. Sometimes 4, depending on how the market's moving. I'll stay on longer. Um, but I'm being disciplined to my training time. I'm staying disciplined to only trading when I'm in a good state of mind. I talked about on the podcast this past week that one thing that's helped me in my trading is getting into the right state of mind. A mentor of mine told me a while back is I came to him and I said, dude, I know that my strategy works. I'm trading with other people, and I'm in a slump basically. I can't figure it out. And he just asked me when I was trading, and I told him, early in the morning, and he's like, all right, what are you doing before? And I said, to be honest with you, I'm just hitting snooze on my alarm clock, or I'm turning it off and I'm getting up, throwing on a shirt, and I'm trading. And he said, there's your problem, basically. And not word for word, but really said, there's your problem. Like you're not in the right state of mind. And then, now kind of looking back on that, it's, Marcus, we played basketball, like collegiate basketball. Could you imagine rolling out of bed and playing a college basketball game without any preparation, without any warm up or getting into the right state of mind? And I don't know if you can, but to me, that just doesn't sound like a recipe for success. Obviously, we can, we're competitors and we can make it happen. But I'm sure for the most part, at least consistently, our performance would be a little better if we warmed up properly. We, put a ball in our hands. If we got in the right state of mind, listened to our music, had another film session, like we got prepared. And that's not to say I'm before calls or trading, I'm getting up and jogging and, you know, reading a book or, but every morning I roll out of bed and while I, brush my teeth, get my water, throw my clothes on, like as I'm getting ready for the morning, um, I like to listen to Ed Milet, um, podcaster and motivational speaker. That's just someone whose word resonates with me, and I like listening to him. But sometimes it's Jim Rohn. I know Marcus, you love Jim Rohn. I was actually listening to him last night. But sometimes it's that. Sometimes it's a different podcaster, a different motivational video, or even sometimes it might be music. And I've had days also where I'm just not in the mood for any of that, and I'll just like go through my routine in the morning regularly. But I'm still waking my mind up, getting ready for the day. And something I used to do as well, I haven't in a while. Uh, I used to go on walks while listening to those videos. I'd throw my phone in my pocket and I would just have it, blasting from my pocket, and I'd go on a walk for about 10, 15 minutes, and that would wake me up while, getting my mind right, and kind of just get me ready. And found that to help me. And again, that's why I want to clarify, what I consider successful, what's helped me. Because when Marcus shares, I bet it'll be a little bit different. But anyways, being disciplined to my time to trading, being disciplined to my routine, and then again, being disciplined for my rules. Like I said, I was being patient for a trade entry here. I got to be disciplined, waiting for all my confirmations to line up. And I'm in no rush anymore. Used to be, as I grow as a trader, though, that has dwindled away for the most part. Is I'm in no rush for an entry. I know for a fact the market's going to give me a good entry. If I'm patient and aware and disciplined to my rules. If I miss an entry, cool, sucks, but there's going to be another one, like probably in the next couple minutes or hours, and if not that, a couple days. But I still end up trading a few times a day, just in this 3 hour span. But being patient for an entry, being disciplined to my routine, my rules, my entry points, my exit points. If a trade goes south and it's not where I want it to be, if my exit confirmation hits, that same mentor that told me to get my mind right and get in the right state of mind before trading, he had told me, follow your rules as well. You have a trading plan, follow the rules. And he told me that when I blew an account. I told him I was in drawdown. I was like, man, what do I do? And he was like, well, did you have an exit confirmation? I was like, yep. He's like, you didn't follow it? And I said, yep. He's like, well, there you go. Like, if you trust your like your strategy, you trust your process, and you say that, then you got to act like it, and you got to take your exit confirmation, because one, that protects your account, but two, that allows you to back test now. Like, you trusted your confirmation, go back and see what happened. Go to your entry point, go look at your exit. Was there a point where you could have exited with a profit? Um, and for the most part, Marcus, I'm sure you can attest to this. Like, when I've back tested, you know, profits and my lessons, like, I typically find out something that I missed in the lifetime, especially for lessons. I at least see something, and even maybe I did see it in the lifetime and still took the trade, which happens sometimes. Um,
Mm.
but I typically find something that I was like, okay, well, I took this trade and I didn't have volume, and I learned from it. And as much as we can do that and kind of dwindle down those mistakes as much as possible, that's what's helped me um, be a lot more consistent in my trading. And that just goes to my last point, is consistency. I'll talk about being patient, I'll talk about being disciplined, but that doesn't matter if I just do that today and tomorrow, or I just do that today. Like, we have to stack days. Um, we just had a podcast with a guy named Ross Williams, came out last Monday. If you haven't heard it, it's pretty cool. Dude is a beast, and he has climbed from the lowest level of basketball to now he's in playing to be in the NBA. But something that he said was, and I asked him about his time in Switzerland playing overseas, and he's like, man, professional basketball is just like any other job. He's like, if you come in and you're not providing what they want, at the end of the day, they're paying you to be high level at what you're doing. And if you throw together a few bad days or weeks, or you're just not consistent in the role that they need you to be in, they'll get rid of you. And that just, he's like, you got to be consistent. And there's days where it's snowing outside or it's raining and you don't want to get out of bed and go work out at 8 a.m. and then go back and work out at noon and then go back for team practice and recovery and film at this, like, multiple times a day. If you're not consistent and providing in the way they expect you to, then they'll send you home. And so you can't get sent home in trading, but I can tell you, if you're not, I mean, you kind of can. You can lose your home in trading if you're not disciplined with your risk management. But um, if you're not consistent in your rules and being disciplined to that, then you can lose a lot of money quick. And so my big thing is being consistent, in my patience, day in and day out. I want to be consistent with my patience every single day, in my entries every single day. And I want to be disciplined to my routine, to my strategy, to my rules, um, my entries and exits, my logging. That's another thing, is being disciplined to logging my trades. I want to do that every single trade, be as consistent as possible with that. And I truly believe, with our strategy and the rules that I have set in stone for myself, that I have been and I will be successful. Um, and I'm looking here again, like at my last 2 weeks of trading on this demo, it's not by accident am I up 34%. Not a single trade here did I just click trade and just hope and then profited on it. Like, every trade has my mood, every trade has my time I entered, every trade. I'm going to share my screen just so you guys can see that for a split second. Every trade here has the day, the time, my price, buy or sell on the pair, my lot size, my profit on pips, and my profit on dollar. And almost every trade has mood. Like here, I was tracing retracement. I tried this out. I never trade retracement, but I had very good points to enter and exit that trade. I knew what I was doing. But I'm just being honest here. It's my first time. And I don't mean trying it out like I was just like testing and just messing around with it. Like, I had reasons to enter and exit, but again, it's my logging my first times doing it. Like these trades, I'm confident. I was confident here, exited early. I was patient on this one. Like, I took a trade yesterday I profited 0 pips. I entered and exit pretty quick, but I was bored, and that just comes to my discipline. but luckily, and nothing bad happened. But again, anxious, like being disciplined to logging that, and that goes to part of my success is I believe that, in doing that helps me one go be able to back test and look at what has been successful and what has not been successful for me, the moods I'm in. Man, I'm looking at these trades and I'm just making this up here, but over the past month, every trade I take where I'm hungry, upset, anxious, not patient, like I end up either profiting a smaller amount or losing the trade. That allows me to see that, and I go back and back test and look at the actual chart. But I know my mood is, I'm taking worse trades than when I'm in a bad mood, so I need to dwindle that out. Um, so being disciplined and logging my trades, and again, I believe once I stack all these together and stack days together with it, I have seen it that I am a successful and great trader, utilizing our Bloom strategy. Um, but yeah, that and then the numbers, the dominoes fall into place in my opinion. I've seen it. Once I'm putting these things all together, even if it's not perfect, uh, like I took a board trade yesterday. There's no explanation for that. Um, I took it there, like it was a good trade, but it was late in the day. It was outside of my trading zone. Um, like I literally I would flip to the chart and I saw a good entry. And I was like, all right, I'm bored. I'm gonna take this. And that's not, again, that's not sad. Just trade randomly, just for the fun of it. Like, still had solid foundation. It was setting out to be a good trade. But again, I'm just being very transparent with myself. Like I was bored. So trying to limit those things and be consistent to all these rules I have for myself. Logging my trade. Um, and yeah, then the numbers fall into place. And again, it's a little bit better when I do have multiple trades that are profitable, or I end the day up X amount of percent, or I grew my account today by 3%, and the week like last week I did 23.6%. That feels a lot better than being down 23.6%. But again, that goes to, I found that weeks where I'm down, I've taken bad trades, or I'm not in the right headspace, or I'm just, I'm slacking on my disciplines. And days where I am disciplined, I'm patient, and I'm consistent. Like these past 2 weeks, besides my board trade that I collected 0 pips, but $2 profit. Um, the numbers, everything falls into place, and I am profitable, uh, and I've got some momentum rolling. So that's what I consider successful, is when I'm following my rules, um, making good trades, and being patient, disciplined, and consistent to my rules, my strategy, my trading plan, um, all together.
I like it. I like it. So let's say trade by trade basis. You follow your trading rules and whatnot. Um, so in this instance, it would be like your current position right now. It would be, and it's kind of funny thinking about like success. Like it's almost like I feel like especially in trading, it's constantly moving, and I feel like in anything actually, like success is never a particular destination. You know what I'm saying? Because so let's say in just this specific instance, you're currently moving in success. Let's say that within one fat L, just one major L. I don't know if you broke your risk management plan, you broke your exit strategy, whatever the case may be. Um, would that alter your current mindset of, like I said, moving in success? I don't know how you can put that in terms of your
Would
mindset
I
of
would I
being
let a
successful.
would I let a slip up that cost me affect me moving forward?
Well, just in terms of like thinking about, just if we just take your example, as a trader, You're like you said, you $3,000 account up about 1,300 roughly, um, and then so we would say right now you would be in the successful state of mind. Like that's what I'm saying. That's kind of an interesting concept to kind of get into, thinking about that because like we said, like I said, success is not a particular. I don't even think it's a state of mind. Um, and so I'm kind of asking, just kind of throwing it out there, how would that change the current perspective you have of your trading? Because I would say you would deem yourself right now, successful, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how would a fat L just change everything? Would it change everything? Um,
In the past, absolutely. Um, I've had that. You've been around for most of my journey of trading. I've had weeks, days, trades where I've, you know, not been successful. But I've had trades like where I had a $2,500 live account at one point. Um, and these are just more somewhat recent, in the past year or maybe 6, 7 months, maybe longer. I'll just say year, but I had a $2,500 live account, grew it to about $3,300. And then I had a slip up where I, completely was not patient. I was not disciplined. Like I didn't exit on my X strategy, and it cost me. I basically blew the account. And at that time, yes, it threw me off um, of my path. And I, in the time, it sucked. I had my head down. Um, it's a little different with live money, um, and it kind of, yeah. To answer your question, it did throw me off of my path at the time. But I didn't hang my head. I just went back to a demo and I figured it out. Then I had a prop account where it was, I don't know, I forget if it was 25 or $50,000 prop funded account. I had that account. I was growing it. I was like 1 or 2% away from passing my first challenge. Uh, Out of like, I think I had to grow like 8%. I was at like 6 or something. And we lost access to that account. And I say we were both trading on the same funded account, obviously different accounts, but using the same prop firm. And we lost access to it, and that sucked. Now I know that's not like a big slip up or messing up, but at the time it was like, all right, like, dang, that sucks. And it didn't throw me off. I just went back to demo, but then got that account back, and immediately my second trade, I just wasn't disciplined and wasn't following my rules, and I fell asleep in a trade, woke up to the account blown. Um, and that one didn't set me back near as far as the first one, my first mess up. And I don't know if I'm answering it right, Mark, but if that happened to me now with this account and this state of success I'm in, like this momentum I have rolling, it, I'm human. It would suck. I'd be like, dang, but I feel like I'm at a point now where I've experienced blowing accounts, or I've experienced my lack of discipline at times costing me. But each time that that's happened, I've learned from it, and I'm minimizing that lack of discipline, or that, you know, I'm being more consistent now. Like I've learned from those mistakes. So in the past, it has affected me and knocked me off my path of success and my momentum. But I truly believe that if that happened right now, um, then I don't think it would. I think I just, pick right back up wherever it knocks me off to. Like if I had a trade that lost all my profit, which will not happen due to my risk management. And that's me learning from my past mistakes where I didn't have risk management. Um, but if that happened, I'd just be like, all right, like I learned from it. I back test it, and I'd figure out what I did wrong and move forward. But as a human, it would suck. I'd be like, damn, you know, not gonna lie and say he'll be like, yeah, I'm excited to learn from this mistake because, I love making mistakes. I'm human. Like, no, I'd be like, fuck, excuse my language, but that's exactly how I'd be. And then I'd be like, all right, I'll be back on tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. See you guys there. So I don't know if that answers your question right, but
No, yeah, that was perfect, bro. That was perfect. It's really I have no viewpoint of it. It was kind of just more some dialogue for the viewers, just because
yeah,
I know that type of stuff does happen. Like, you know what I'm saying? And the more I'm sitting here thinking about it, that's a really interesting like topic, like success and what that actually means and looks like.
yeah,
I just looked up actually like the definition of success, because that's the thing too, um, that we can kind of use to our advantage. I feel like there's a lot of different perspectives to even something as simple as definitions. Like you got the what I'm looking at right here from Google, the Oxford languages definition, and then there's always like the Latin definition, and then there's always these multiple different definitions, and then you can kind of pull your own perspective out of whatever you're looking at and go from there. As I
right.
think we're getting some retracement here, some more retracement towards my 1 hour decision making zone. News in about 24 minutes. Dollar just got to a strong decision making zone area, so I want to see the dollar actually start to move bullish now. Um, but yeah, I looked up success, and the first definition, it says the accomplishment of an aim or purpose.
Huh.
Um, and then under that same one, there's just a bullet point: the attainment of fame, wealth, or social status. And there's another bullet point under that that says a person or thing that achieves desired aims or attains fame, wealth, etc. So basically the first two. Um,
I'm looking at one here that says success can be measured in specific outcomes as a process or as a state of mind. Standards for success can be related to personal, social, spiritual, academic, or employment goals. Success can be defined for small, short-term goals, for overall life achievements, and for steps along the way. And I love that definition because I definitely measure my success as a process, at least with trading. Like this is a process, and day in and day out, I have you know my goals, and that's to be patient, disciplined, and consistent.
all right, so let me ask you this: within that process, you do all that, right? And then you look up in a year, and as far as like the actual point of what we want from trading, and that is to of course
Be
it
profitable.
be a one of a strong source of income,
Yeah.
and essentially just have our time. Even and to be honest with you, even if I was making the same amount I was now, um, you know, and I could do that trading, I would trade that now. I would trade for that now, but you guys know what I'm saying. But mm, what would that like? How what would that look like? Like how would you view something like that?
If I did it for a year consistently,
Well, just what I'm saying is just for a long amount of time, right? Maybe you have some slip up every now and then, but for a long amount of time, you follow this path of success that you deem of success, but you look up in a long amount of time, and trading wise, it hasn't changed anything or whatnot. Like how would you view something like that?
I would first look in the it, like so if I follow my success plan and my rules for a year, and I look up and my numbers in trading haven't grown. Is that what you're saying? Or haven't been to the standard I expect it to be?
Yeah, just hypothetically, yeah.
I would first look in the mirror and try to see, have I actually been patient in every day of my entries? Have I been disciplined through everything for this year? And have I been clearly consistent? If I have been for a year, I would say that's not long enough for me to be like, all right, it's not working. I need to switch things up. Um,
But at
but if
that point, after a year, would you be looking at it from a dollar perspective now, or
it if I'm trading, no, honestly, no, I don't think so. If I'm trading with live consistently and I'm just blowing money for a year, um, I mean, at the end of the day, our goal is to grow our financial accounts. That is the main goal. That's what I'm reading Atomic Habits right now. Like all these little goals I'm talking about, being patient every day, disciplined, consistently. That's my I can't think of the word. I mean, it's right here in the front of my notes. One second. Basically, if I can find it here. I mean, that's basically just my process. Every day is a brick. Every day, my goals for the day are to be patient, disciplined, and consistent in my rules and my strategy. And those are our daily goals, and it's my process. It's each day is a brick by brick. But ultimately, my goal is to what you just asked is to grow my account. And let's say, you're asking if I'd look at it as a money thing after a year, you know, if I'm being patient, if I'm laying my bricks correctly and they're not working, I would probably after a year kind of change my approach, um, and do more diligence on like the time I'm trading, how I'm trading, and that's not to say I'd change it, but I would certainly try to figure it out. Um, but I wouldn't look at the money and decide like this isn't working. Like um, simply, I literally just talked to a buddy yesterday. We were talking about um, a business, and he was like, "Well, I just don't know how to, approach people, and I don't know how to do this. Like, I just need help with it." And I was like, "Dude," I was like, "I will help you certainly. I got you." And I didn't say it like this, but I was
yeah,
basically
yeah,
saying like, I'll help you. I'm here to help you, but I was like, let me ask you like a little hypothetical question here, and it might be dramatic, but I was like, if someone locked you in a room with no way to get out, and they literally tell you, hey, there's no way to get out, and this room's gonna fill up with water slowly for the next 10 minutes, and you're gonna die in 10 minutes. You're gonna drown. Like there's no way to get out. I was like, would you just be like, all right, see you, man. Like appreciate you, and just lay down and let the water fill up for 10 minutes and die? And he's like, no. I was like, what would you do? He's like, I'd probably try to figure it out. And I was like, yeah, like you would do everything and humanly possible to figure out how in the world to get out of that room. So bringing that up, like I would, if it's not going well after a year, and if it's not me, if I'm being consistent and patient and disciplined, which every time I have been, I've had success with our strategy. Um, but I would figure it out. I wouldn't look at the money and be like, all right, that's my determining factor. My account's not growing. Um, you know, I'm out. Like I wouldn't look at it like that. I would just simply figure it out.
yeah,
Whatever I got to figure out, whether that's me. I said earlier, the first thing I do is look in the mirror. But whether that's me, whether that's my strategy, whether that's my time I'm trading, whether that's if it's who I'm trading with, like if it whatever it is, I would figure it out and I try some new things. Um, but I also don't think a year is enough time to like really determine if something's working or not, um, or if I need to
Yeah.
change chase something drastically. Again, not know if that answered exactly what you're looking for, but
No, yeah, I'm really not looking for anything specific. I'm
okay.
I'm just trying to uncover, like, as you talk about it, as I sit and continue to think about it, this topic, hearing your perspective about it, just uncover literally success and just for our viewers to have, that perspective, hearing your perspective is great. So they can kind of formulate their own perspective just because I don't think it's something that we think about a lot, to be honest. Now that I'm sitting and think about it, it's definitely not something I think about a lot in terms of how I deem success. I think I have thought about it and just like kind of said like, oh, these bullet points, whatnot, But and I think you're spot on in terms of trading, just what it entails, um, just discipline, consistency, staying on the path of your plan, trading your plan, planning your trade, um, trusting your trade, you know. But when I just think about those things for me, I don't know if that is what I would consider successful. Because the more I think about how what I would consider successful strictly from trading, it is like me being. And so let me ask you this: Can you go from successful to unsuccessful, and not even just talking about trading? Do you think you can go from successful to an unsuccessful person to a successful person back to it? Like, I feel like that's not right. You can't go back and forth, right?
I don't consider it like as I'm successful. I'm talking about like what I consider a successful day in trading. Like, and my success doesn't rely on my numbers and me being 3 for 3 for the day. Like, I truly trust my process, and that's why I honed in on my process, like the brick by brick, like the day, what I do, my routine, how I approach the day, um, that's what I consider success. But if I'm not successful in that routine and in that, you know, day of trading, I don't look at myself and be like, I'm not a successful person today. Like, I don't look at it like that. It's just what I consider successful in the day, in my approach and how I trade. And I believe that when I am successful in all those things, that the dominoes will fall into place, and I will be successful when you look at the numbers and the percentages that my account's grown.
Yeah,
Um,
no, I can feel that. So like day by day, on a day by day trading basis, as long as you're following the plan, discipline, patient, following your trading plan, all that type of stuff incorporated, that is what you would deem a successful day in trading.
yeah, because I believe, and I've seen it when I do those things and implement our strategy within that my numbers will be like they are positive, they are profitable, and my accounts are growing. And that's just a switch in my perspective from in the past. It's like I only feel happy or successful when I make money and profit percentages. But then I've just found that that's a slippery slope for me, because then if I have a bad negative day, like with my numbers, let's just it has thrown me off in the past as far as the rest of my day. And I don't want my trading at 5 to 7:30 in the morning to affect how I go about my 7:31 to 11 p.m. day.
Yeah,
Um, so that, like, if I close the chart and I'm 0 for 9 and I've just lost 20% on my account, truly, like, because of the flip in perspective and the way I look at things now, if I trusted, if I followed my plan and I did everything accordingly and I was disciplined and all that, like, I live with those results because I've accepted the risk in which I partake in. Like I trade Forex. That is a very risky thing. Obviously, I'm not throwing to be like, I'm 0 for 9, but I followed my rules. Like that's, I mean, again, I'm human.
Yeah.
I'm still like, damn, like, but I would go figure it out. Like I would go back and back test. I back test a decent amount, and, and I back test more when I'm in and when I lose trades, really. And that's why we say we learn from it, because like we all go back test. We all learn from our losses. Um, but that flip in perspective, and not considering success and my happiness and trading strictly off my numbers and percentages and stuff, I have found that it keeps me level headed, no, never too high, never too low. Um, and that all just comes down to me trusting our strategy. Like I truly have seen and believe that our strategy is like good. Like I wouldn't be getting up this early every day if it wasn't. Like no
Yeah.
one wants to wake up at 5 unless you're just like crazy or a morning person. Like no one wants to get up early, but I truly know and believe that we have a strategy that this time we can maximize it and trade it. So because I believe in that and my process and my routine, like if I do that, my routine and follow everything to a T, I live with the results.
Yeah.
That hasn't always been the case by any means. That's been just a flip in my mindset, working on my mental and growing, learning from you and Quentin, my dad, whoever it may be. You know, I, my success wasn't going to be off of me being happy or upset about my numbers and profits. It just, that's not how I work. I couldn't sustain that because one day I'd be 3 for 3 with this X amount of profit and I'd be like really happy. And then the next day, I think I'm on top of the run. The next day, I'm 0 for 6 and lost everything and more. And I'm just like, then it just throws my day off. When I look at the numbers and I don't actually have a process, and that goes like that, I credit it to Atomic Habits, the book. Literally, it talks about, your process. You can set goals, but how are you going to get there? What are you going to do day in and day out? How are you going to lay the bricks down in what order? And like to get there, anyone can,
Yeah.
like I have on my dream board right here, like millionaire by 24. I wrote that 2 years ago, but until a few months ago, I didn't have a process. Like, what am I going to do to get there? Like, it's cool to write it down and to look at it. Um, and at times I'd be like, all right, let's do it. But if I don't have a process implemented and a true like why and a plan day in and day out to accomplish that, then it's just not going to happen. More unlike Less likely to happen than,
Yeah.
if I say, hey, I'm going to be a millionaire by 24, but as far as trading, I'm going to follow this process, this routine, and this plan every single day. Um, and it's not going to be perfect, you know, never just a straight line. But if I do that every day, and then after I get off here and almost every day I read for 15 minutes, I take notes, then I go work out. Um, like 4 days a week. Like I have my non-negotiables and my routine, my process now implemented, and I follow it to the best that I can. Um, I believe that I'm going to hit that goal. Like that's one goal in mind.
Yeah.
So that's
I love
really
it.
really more, instead of condense it, I really more consider my success in my routine and my process, my brick by brick, rather than just the outcome of things. If that makes sense.
No, I love it. Not connected to the result.
Yeah, yeah. There you go.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that serves well for sustainability. Not being so bent on the result of something. think a lot of the times that can like influence how we look at things because we're so worried about the result. And yeah, like of course results matter. I know, I know results matter. They matter the most. I
Yeah.
feel like because if the results are not showing, then like it's a really it honestly takes a really strong minded person to do something for a long period of time and not see results. Like, just think about the type of resiliency that builds in somebody. You know, when they're doing something for a long period of time, a certain amount of time, and they don't see any results from it. As gold's starting to move bullish here, I thought about entering
I did too. I
a
did
trade
too.
on gold. But I've already taken two trades this morning that I like just speaking back to, what just our the process. Like I didn't follow really I forced a couple entries. Just was not patient. Didn't affect my account just because I have a really good grasp on risk management right now. Um, so where I'm kind of using that to play a little loosely on the market, just because I want to be able to execute on more opportunities within the market because it's I'm confident in my ability. But um, yeah, that was this is clean right here. This little move right here.
And you just
Let's
said
see.
something about, like not worrying about, I forget what you said, but you said something about not worrying about the results or something. And when I was um in the past, when I was what's the word? Results like based, when I would just, whatever my results were would affect how I act. I
Yeah.
read or I heard something, I don't know who I was listening to, but I heard something. It's like, humans get depressed thinking about the past and get anxious thinking about the future.
Hmm.
And that's exactly how I was. Like if I had a bad day, like I'm not depressed, but I'd be a little, I'd be more down. Like it would affect the rest of my day based on my numbers. I'd be, affected or I'd be really happy because I profited a bunch today. Or I'd be anxious thinking about the future. Like what does tomorrow hold? Or when I enter a trade, like I'm anxious thinking about, oh, what if this doesn't go well? Or what if it does go well? Like I would, I literally would be anxious thinking about the future and not depressed, but upset about the past. And now, like, it's literally been a flip in my mind. And it took me some time to work on it, a lot of time. But my mindset, my approach now is strictly just I'm where my feet are at. Like today is successful if I blank, if I do all these things. I live with the results. The results don't matter now. Now over time, if I'm doing these things day in and day out, laying brick by brick, and I'm not seeing any progress and any growth at all, then again, it's time to look in the mirror and figure something out. But you know, I don't expect to just go to the moon immediately. If it's take two steps forward, take one step backwards kind of deal. As long as I'm making progress over time, um, then my process, I still believe and trust in it, which is the case right now completely. And gold is marching as I'm speaking. I'm watching it march.
Yeah, gold is marching for sure. News in 2 minutes.
Let's see.
News in 2 minutes. I'm waiting for this 7 o'clock news. Closer we get to that, I'll probably take another one more position on the day. I haven't even really taken a position to give myself a chance to let my trade go, and that goes to show how I felt about those entries. But
Yeah.
nah, bro, you're spot on.
Yeah. And
Crazy
also like
news.
talking about like since I'm in charge of our podcast stuff as far as running the social medias, and as I'm sure we all have experience with social media, is like I want my account to grow. I want more views. Like it's just that dopamine release, and we all like that. But like I used to look at it as, and I say I used to, like this was more recent with like the social media growth and stuff. It's like, damn, when is this one of these videos going to blow up, or when is this going to do good, or when are we going to gain followers? And I literally like have recently flipped my mindset to just like trust the process, like continue to be consistent, continue to put out good videos, learn how to get better at the videos, learn more about like people clicking on and off videos, what draws them to it, what keeps them on it, what type of content is more um, real worthy, like what type of content will has the potential of blowing them. No one wants to hear, like realistically, no one wants to hear about Jerry's day on social media for the most part. Right now, no one wants to hear about that. Um, but they want to, if I'm sitting here saying something motivational that, may affect someone's day or life, like they will likely click on that or stay on that more. So just learning what people attract to and learning all that stuff and posting and getting better with my content and better with the, editing, you know, I'm just going to keep posting. And at some point, as I get better and better and continue to grow, if I'm consistent and trusting my process, our account is going to grow, on social media. And like if you go like look at our, I'm just using the podcast for example. If you go look at our podcast page and you scroll down to video reel number one or thumbnail number one, and then you scroll back up to episode number 32 that just released, and the reels that are releasing with it, like you see growth. And um, that's just kind of me learning the process and going about it. But that point being said, is I used to be anxious about the future, like when are we going to grow?
Yeah,
Or I not again, I don't like the word depressed. I'm not in any state of depression, but I would be depressed about, dang, we've been posting for a year now and we only have 300 basically 400 followers, and we're only getting this amount of views on things. Like I just can't look at it that way. Like
yeah,
maybe some people can, I can't, just because then it knocks me off my path, uh, momentarily at least, but or it gets me focused on not the right things. So just more worrying about my process and the brick
yeah.
by brick. Um,
No, that,
that's success
yeah.
in these different categories. And it's a little sweeter
News.
when you actually have some success and the numbers show. But that'll happen if you have a good process implemented and you follow it.
No, for sure.
And you
Um,
continue to learn and grow along the way. Let me add that. If you're just doing something and just staying flatlined, obviously you're only going to grow to a certain amount, but as you progress and you learn and learn and learn, take two steps forward, a step back, but then another two forward, like then I believe you have success and numbers will show.
yeah, as we just got a USD news just came out. Services, final services PMI, neutral reading. I didn't expect that to influence price at all, which it hasn't. Um, prices has moved bullish a little bit. I think it's moved into a manipulation phase, in my opinion. Just because I believe we're going to get bullish news from the US dollar. I could be completely wrong, like literally 100% wrong. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. But just from my perspective of, Fed Powell's speech yesterday, just current market structure, even on my higher time frame of my dollar, um, I think we can stay bullish on the dollar here with some bullish news. But if not, I'm gonna be ready to enter on some more buys, or my first actual real buy on gold this morning. But no, that's the more you're talking about it, I actually really love that. And I was thinking about to what I said earlier, about if it's a state of mind, just trying to define it for myself, like truly trying to define it for myself. And just when I continue to think about success,
Your word is
I just
formaldehyde.
can it pulls me to the
It's very
analogy of it
fitting.
being a marathon,
As you're sitting in your
like of
basement, you hit your vape, but
of
when no one
how a
moves in, it freaks
marathon
out
is
and starts
structured and
listing the
how
toxic chemicals
you know
you
the
could be
term,
inhaling into your body,
famous
like
Nipsey, shout out Nipsey
formaldehyde,
Hussle, R.I.P.
which she singles out because it's
But
the same chemical
it's
used to preserve your
that
Uncle
was his
Rico's
thing was the
funky
marathon.
smelling
That's kind of where he
taxidermy
started,
farts.
and just kind of thinking
Formaldehyde.
about the longevity, the long game of anything, but thinking about the actual event of a marathon, right? When you know they get to that finish line, that is essentially when they feel successful. So that would be their result. Um, so I want to be careful when I just talk about not thinking, not caring about the results, because I care about the results a strong amount. Um, or I will, what the heck are we doing this mess for if we don't care about the result, right? Um, but it's similar to the think and grow rich, right, concept.
Uh-huh.
Thinking and grow rich, um, and that's kind of where I'm pulling to and I'm attaching to. And success, I feel like is another form of that. As gold is marching up here, even more. But I think success is just another branch off of that type of as a man thinketh type of mindset, right? If you and to your point, right, if you think you're successful, then you're going to formulate the plans and the process that go hand in hand with success, right? And the blueprint isn't super complicated. Successful people do successful things. What are successful things? Planning your day, planning your week, planning your trading process, your trading plan. Um, and I even think it's continuously preparing your mind. Like you said, Atomic Habits, diving into some books, right? Diving into education, right? We're preparing our mind for success. Um, so I do think it is more of a state of mind than an actual destination, because in trading, once we hit quote unquote success in trading, it's just like constant. You feel me? So there is no destination after that. Um, and so that's kind of where, when I think about it specifically in trading, I think success to me is comfort. Success for me is comfort when it comes to, specifically when it comes to trading. I would deem myself a successful trader when I'm comfortable. Um, my personal life, you know, time wise, finances wise, um, just anything that circles around trading. When I'm comfortable in it, then that's when I would deem myself a successful trader. Of course, that contributes to money. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just gonna be completely honest about it. However, that doesn't mean if I lose money today that I am an unsuccessful trader. Like, I have a successful state of mind, and comfort in trading is the destination for when I am a successful trader, right? But the destination is not going to change my state of mind, right? So if I never reach the destination, that's not going to change my state of mind. Um, and so I think that's super important for us to care about and consider, and be what's what I'm looking for. Um, like, not be so hard on ourselves. There's another one I'm looking for, but we gotta not be so hard on ourselves. And a lot of us, some of us do need to be hella hard on ourselves. Like, there's a point in time, and even some days, I have days where I need a kick in the butt. You know what I'm saying? And we all need that. Thinking back to the principle of thirds, as we talked about in previous CEO pods and conversations among us. Um, but yeah, man, that's kind of where I'm at with it. And
Yep.
just
That's exactly why I want to title it what I consider success, because I knew that our answers would be different somehow. I didn't know exactly how, but I figured that it'd be
yeah,
different.
no, I don't think I don't think they necessarily defer, because I feel exactly what you're saying in terms of trading and brick by brick and day by day, just trading, following the plan, disciplinary actions when on the market. Like I feel that 1,000%. And even when I feel like, let's say we act against the market, like even when I personally act against the market, like today, I knew that I did, and so it, I don't want to label this specific thing unsuccessful because it was outside of my plans. I mean, I think so yeah, I don't think it differs. I think we kind of see it in a similar light. Um
Yeah.
it's just more for the viewers to kind of
I would consider it unsuccessful. It like if I took a trade like what you just referred to as, not a great trade, I would consider that unsuccessful if I didn't go back and learn from it and didn't back test it and didn't follow my process. Like if I just took it and just let it be, and like obviously if I know in the moment like what exactly I just did wrong, like to a T, then I don't need to go back and back test it. But for the most part I do anyways. But I would consider it unsuccessful if I went against my process and my rules, my strategy, and then didn't do anything about it. Like I didn't at least acknowledge it and learn from it, or see that mistake, so I just can minimize it as much as possible in the future. That's
nah,
what I
for
would
that.
consider. That's what would knock me off of my, like, today was successful. Like when I closed the computer later, like, all right, like as of right now, like I have done everything to my plan. Like I'm patient. I'm not going to force anything. I've been tempted to. Don't get me wrong. I've been tempted to, especially sitting here in the past. I don't know. Last time I traded was 5:30. It's 7. Like it's been an hour and a half. I can tell you, we're kind of sickos, so we can do it. But not many people just want to sit here and stare at a chart for an hour and a half without making any actions. I say we're
Yeah,
sickos because we can do it. Like I can sit here and stare at this all day. You know damn well
yeah,
you
nah,
can.
for sure.
You'll just talk to yourself. You'll be fine.
Nah, for sure. Um, nah, I feel you.
We have news
That's
in 2 minutes.
yeah, there's in 2 minutes.
Red folder and the
I'm
yellow.
gonna come back to this thought. That's why I wrote it down. I didn't want to get into it just yet. But yeah, man, that's actually really fire. Um, I feel like that's gonna be we got to turn that into a CEO pod. I think just breaking success down, kind of having more dialogue about that would be super fire. Just the more that I'm thinking about it, my brain just keeps just thinking more about it. News in 1 minute and some change. I got bullish news from the dollar. It's gonna send gold bearish. Um, if you don't believe me, let me actually look at something really quick. Ooh, we do have some room to go there.
And I want to add this real quick as we look at news. Is I talked the other day on our podcast when we shot it. That comes out today, so I'm not going to say too much, but I will dabble into it. Is I mentioned when you trade on a demo account, treat it like a live account. Like basically practice how you play. And let me turn the After music a little.
Yeah, this actually might go. Hold that thought. We got news in 30 seconds, and
Okay, I'm gonna
this it's
I'm
about
gonna
to go
run the
crazy right
first
now.
real quick while news hits.
Yeah,
So I'll be back in like a couple minutes.
news in 10. Let's see what happens. USD, PMI, service manufacturing. Let's see what happens here. Gone. Bullish news. It's not coming back. Bullish news from the dollar. Or excuse me, yeah, bearish news. So bullish movement. I entered a buy. I entered a buy. And this is the thing. If I would have just trusted my previous buy, look, this was my entry. But since when I entered, I didn't love it. Right? I didn't love it. So I didn't trust it. Right? I didn't love it, so I didn't trust it. Services PMI, I can really see us pushing to that 292 level. I can really see us pushing that 292 level. That news folder. Bearish news. Thought we would get bullish news. Just given the recent speech, but that's something that could maybe go on next week, right? But my read on the dollar is the same. It remains the same. Bullish right now in terms of the overall trajectory of the dollar. One thing I did notice. See, and I'm not even gonna get myself into trouble here. I'm not even gonna get myself into trouble here. I want to see if we can get price to push up to a point, a break even for me, even if I gotta take a small lesson. I just took a small lesson because I just didn't love it. I think I'm eager to trade this morning because I missed the move from gold, and I'm actually still a little bitter about that. I'm just being completely honest. I'm still a little bitter about that. So yeah, 0 for no, I'm not 0 for actually. 1 for 3 on the day. Four for let me see, what am I on the week? this week I am 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the week. Still positive growth on my account. I'm not gonna trade for the rest of the week, so I'm not really. I'll observe price. I'm not really, super caught up in what it's gonna do for the rest of the week. I'll go back and back test my entries from this week, just because we have a lot of time between my personal next trading day, which will be next Monday. And so I'll have a few entries to go over. These are entries from last week that I won't worry about. And I actually have some entries to input into my trade log right now. So let me do that. $15.38. I entered that trade at $15.38, so that has to be what, $5.38? That did not just enter it just now. Yeah, and these breaks in prices is mainly why I like to exit my trade. This break in price right here. You guys see that break on the screen on Jerry's chart? Is a break in gold on the 1 minute, and that is going to get filled. So I'm just good. The market has already moved, well over 300 pips in this direction, bullish direction. So it's bound to start falling back down. It's bound to start falling back down. The cleanest move came in this morning. I'll tell you that, or last night. The cleanest move came in last night, in my opinion. That was the one. So that was 5:30. I entered that trade this morning. Kind of bringing it back to what Jerry was talking about a little bit earlier with the trade log. If you're committed to the process, then you'll take the time to remember to do your trade log. There is a time where I forgot a number amount of times to do my trade log. So I would do it a few times, and then I would miss a number of my entries in my trade log. So then I wouldn't be able to have like super accurate data on the comments that I like to leave, to be able to relate directly back to that state of mind I was in, so that when I do go back test, I can kind of break down that state of mind, and then either cut myself some slack for it, just based on not really cut myself some slack. That's kind of a bad example, but what I mean is, like, let's say I took a trade, right, and I was super decisive. I loved everything about it. I loved how it looked. But then, and I leave that comment, decisive, confirmations came in, and boom, took it. And then I go back, and there was something that I missed, right? If it wasn't in my comment section, or if it was part of my state of mind that I was in, then I kind of get that additional confirmation. But if I don't have somewhat in the moment data, then it's a little bit, you're not really missing, you're just missing out on some valuable stuff when you're back testing. It's not that that back testing session is not valuable anymore. You're just missing out on a little bit more data that you could be getting. And it saves time. I think trade log definitely saves time rather than going to look at your trade locker account, going to try to find the time you entered at, because the time on trade locker comes in like GMT or like Athens time or something weird. So it's honestly a little hard to follow along if you don't already know that 15:38 in whatever time zone this is actually 5:38 in Arizona time. It's just so funny if I would stay. So both of my entries, right? This is why. And then I'm gonna come back to what I wanted to say because I had it written down. But this is why trading psychology, bro, is so important. For anybody trading, new traders, advanced traders, I don't really care what type of trader you are, what part of the journey you are in. Trading psychology is so important, and let me tell you why. Because I entered a trade at, and then I gotta actually hop off here in a second, so I can get ready for work. Well, I get to hop off here for a second, so I can get ready for work.
Yes, sir.
But nah, bro, I entered a trade on GU, right? On GU, right? At 5:38. Okay, so let me go back to 5:38. The price was 1.27182, right? So that's right when I got on. Probably like 5 minutes after I got on. I just got a light bulb moment. This is crazy, right? So that was right after I got on. 5 minutes after I got on, I entered a trade on GU. Why did I enter that trade? I initially wanted to enter a trade specifically because I was pissed that I missed that exit, that gold trade. Like genuinely, I was genuinely pissed because I had this marked up for a good week and a half. I've been eyeing that area for us to move towards because I knew with great conviction that we were going to move into that area, right? I did not think it would happen overnight, or I would have set up some type of buy limit, buy order, right? To where if price hit it, it would have put me in whatnot. But that's in the past now. But that's why I initially wanted to enter a trade. So I could deem that's like a in the family tree of like FOMO, right? But anyways, and so I entered that trade, but it looked good. Like I didn't only enter the trade because I was pissed about the gold trade. I also entered because my confirmations were there and it looked good. Like our strategy confirmations present 1 minute and 5 minute. I didn't have any decision-making zones. As far as like my trade plan execution, as far as execution goes, money, it was good. But then I exited 7 minutes later. Why did I exit 7 minutes later? Because the state of mind I was in, the reason that I even entered this trade, it wasn't built on a foundation of confidence. And it was built on a foundation of fear. It was built on a foundation of frustration, right? So the moment that I saw my trade going into drawdown, I was like, all right, I'm good. I'm out. The moment I even saw it teeter tottering around it, I exited because I'm looking at it right here where I exited. Price didn't even move downwards a lot. Like it was just starting to consolidate a little bit. But the reason I brought this up and the reason why trading psychology is so important, because that same trade, if I removed the initial frustration, right, then I could have had a clear mind on why I was entering, aside from the executions being there, and I would have stayed in this trade because it was a clean trade and now it's in a 52 pip profit. It's in a 52 pip profit. And then the other trade is my gold trade. I learned the gold trade as well. Took an L on a gold trade. Same thing. forced an entry, right? I already, felt like I missed the move. So I had the state of mind of, man, I'm forcing this entry. So I was sitting there thinking about how I forced an entry while in an entry. There's no way I can have the patience and discipline and peace of mind to stay in that trade with that being my initial state of mind. Like, it's impossible. It's impossible. So I can't emphasize how important the trading psychology is, because you can blow you can have the greatest strategy and you can still blow your own account just because you have poor trading psychology. So I just had to share that because that is insane. It's so funny. But no, and then this is actually like perfect how this happened, because then what I had written down, what I wanted to come back to. I think for me, connecting success to every single thing is just not sustainable for me, and it's kind of, I just kind of it makes me think of the analogy of a sailboat, being in the water, and just going with the waves, and being moved by each wave of success and unsuccessful tasks or mindsets, or whatever their case may be. And so just thinking about this, right? Like, I'm 1 for 3 on the day. I just broke down my 3 trades that I took, right? My very last trade that I took was on news, that I would actually still be in profit on, but I shouldn't have taken this one, because I wouldn't take a trade where there was a break in price. But I had the same state of mind. I was forcing stuff this morning, because I was genuinely pissed about missing that trade earlier. But even looking at this 1 for 3, I am not going to say that, just because I didn't follow my trading plan in this instance, that it was unsuccessful. Just because, like I said, I don't want to connect, every single thing to success. Just feel like that could get chaotic for my personal state of mind, as gold thinks about moving bullish a little bit more. Dollar has fallen out of the entire sky with a chance of meatballs. This is so clean. I can see it. If price continues bullish on gold, I said it a little bit earlier this week, I can see it getting up to 23.92. If not for sure, about 23.77. And this is the last thought I have, and then I'll get up out of here. But the beautiful thing about trading is you can miss out on thousands of dollars, hundreds, plenty of money, right? Based on whatever your account size is when you miss a move. But then you just get another day to do it again. You get another day, you get another week of trading, you get another session of news. Like, it's really a rinse and repeat system, and that's pretty dope in my opinion. Just because I'm genuinely, and I'm gonna say this the very last time, and then I promise I'll get over it. I'm genuinely pissed about that gold trade this morning, that I missed out on. That area of imbalance would have been about 200 and some change, that I would have collected on, because I would have stayed in the entire trade. I promise you that. I've been eyeing that area. But Yeah, so I'm actually just going through my trade log. That's pretty much all I have for today. Stop loss was 19 pips. That'd have been about a 3-1 almost.
See how hot it's gonna get in Arizona today. Oh, that's not bad. Only 110.
Only one thing, huh?
Yeah, I say that only because tomorrow 112, next day 113, 112, 112, 114, 113. Whew. You're watching this and you don't live in Arizona, don't move to Arizona in the summer. Anytime else, come on down. But Lord told about you. I just said when you were talking earlier, I said yes, sir, and it made me think of a B-Rad. Made me think of Brad. So I shot Bradley a text. I haven't texted him since April of 2022. Do you talk to Bradley anymore?
I haven't talked to him in a minute, but we used to talk pretty often.
Yeah, I haven't talked to him in forever. He was like my brother.
Yeah, no, Brad, man, good people right there. Brad,
Brad's one of the
that's
best
why
people I know. He's awesome.
it's dope relationships that I built along the way. But great morning this morning. Great call this morning. Got into a really great topic. I'm gonna go ahead and hop off here so I can get ready for work. But I'll be back next Tuesday. Of course, we don't have trading tomorrow, which of course it wanted to land on the day that I would be on. But I'm not offended. I'm not offended. But I'll be back next Tuesday with the gang. But Jerry Johnson, I'm out of here.
All right, my guy. I'm just down for a few minutes, see if we get a push back up here on gold. Otherwise, it was a successful day. As of now, it was successful for me.
All right, bro. Peace.
All right, dog. See you later. Let's see. Man, this like coffee music, this chill coffee music in the background is perfect for trading. Get some Quentin throws on some jazz music. I throw on some coffee shop music. I don't know what Marcus throws on, probably some jazz music. Maybe some rap music. Marcus likes his hip hop and his rap. But either way, this music just like gives you that extra like to trading. It's just like it's a necessity. It's gotta be there. I always have my candle lit. I just lit it. I forgot about it today. But I typically have my candle lit, which I need a new one. It's like it's gone basically. But there's still wax in there, so it'll still work. Got my candle lit. I usually have my water. I drink it. Sometimes I got coffee. And I say sometimes to these because coffee shop or jazz music has to be there. It has to be there. Come on, gold, make a push back up here. I distracted. I forgot I was even trading for a second. All right, 7:27, about to wrap up here. Doesn't look like gold's gonna make a push back up here as of now. And I don't love what I'm looking at as gold looks like it's gonna go into the cloud. Either way, I am uno for uno today. Today I talked about what I consider success, and that's strictly just following my plan and my process and being patient, disciplined, and consistent within those things. And I believe that the numbers and the results will fall into place if I do that. I mentioned how everyone can set goals, but what's the process going to look like? What bricks are you going to lay down day in and day out to get to those goals? And that's more what defines my success is the process and me being where my feet are at for the day and just controlling what I can control in today's time rather than being anxious about the future and looking too far into the future. That's just the way my mind works, and that's the way that I have found success and happiness throughout my trading, throughout my life. I'm trying to be as consistent as possible in my life and continue to push myself and grow in every aspect. My faith, my faith, my family and friend relationships, my physical, like getting in the gym, my trading, whatever it may be, just trying to find a way to steadily grow and push myself, but at the same time, be disciplined and consistent in my process. So today is successful in my book. I was patient. I entered once back here. Wish I stayed in a little longer, but I had entered late, so that's why I exited early. But for the most part, love the trade. Obviously, it's gone up since then, but either way, profitable like 11 or 12 pips. That's good. That's good to me. And I'm gonna share my trade log up here. Uno momento. That's how you say one moment. If not, hopefully I was close. If not, sounded right. So here, you see my screen. Looking at my trade log. Uno for Uno today. 11 pips, $55. I was late. That was my mood. I felt good. I just knew I was late to it. Boom. Still worked out. I exited early. Another profitable day in the books. 3 for 3 this week. I'm not counting this one. I was bored and took a dumb trade. 0 pips. $2 though. $2 more than I had before that trade. Always find the positive in things. But either way, that is how it ended today. So far, so good this week. Let me look at my numbers. So I ended with 38.31. If I look over here last week, $3,831. I'll say 32. And if I times that by 0.05, that's $191, which right now is 255 is 110. Wow. That's almost money. So probably, literally, I've increased my account 5% through yesterday and today. We and I will not be trading tomorrow. I'm sure the market's closed to non-trading day as it's the 4th of July. Happy 4th of July, everyone. But so man, that'll close my week likely unless I trade Friday, which I don't typically trade Friday at all, but I glance at the market here and there. If there's a good trade at a good time, good movement, good angles, good volume, and it follows my plan or my strategy, I will take it because I like money and I take the money from the market. If it's going to give it to me, I'm going to do it. But either way, if that's not the case, 5% this week on my account. That means I went 23.6 the first week, add another 3.3 last week, another 5% this week. What's that math? I'm at 27, 32% in 3 weeks with only 2 days last week and 2 days this week of trading. I talk about my process. I talk about my patience, discipline, and consistency. This is why when I add those things together and I'm doing them day in and day out and focusing on my process and being where my feet are at in the day and not worried about this right here, the profits and the numbers, that's when I find that my numbers and my profits are successful and not only my process. Things will fall into place if you do the correct work. And I believe that. I see it. I'm witnessing it in live time with my trading account. It is a demo, but as I mentioned earlier, I'm treating this demo as a live account. I am trading accordingly. I am following rules accordingly. I'm following my process, my routine accordingly. Basically, I play basketball, and I talked about in our podcast that I released today, practicing gaining speed. I won't go too much into it, but maybe next Wednesday when I'm on, I'll talk about it. But man, I'm treating it like a real one, and it's going to translate to when I do go live. Everything, physical, the mental, preparing right now and ready to get going. So appreciate everyone for listening and watching. A few things. If you guys have any questions, man, drop them in the comment section. We love to answer questions. We love to learn with you guys and teach as well. And if you want us to cover any topics, either message us on Instagram at Bloom Entities, BLOOMENTITIES, Bloom Entities. And man, shoot us a message what you'd like us to go over, making videos about, or cover on a live video. But man, appreciate everyone for watching. We'll see you guys next Tuesday. Have a good weekend.